Good day, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Kari Mansion. Now, to instantly quell your question, Inky is on a little bit of a sabbatical. I, Mariko Kitsukari, have returned to you for this video. Rather fortuitously at that, for it is a very relevant thing that we're going to be watching that I, the fluffy one, have returned for a very fluffy-themed video. Don't worry, Inky shall be returning in the near future. But if you recall your memory back to such time, I was actually the one who took you in the early days of the Makarimore channel. And since then, I've been working on myself to make myself better to come back and give you the content you truly desire. However, for today's video, we are going to be checking out a video that I've been meaning to want to watch for a very long time, which is going to be the entire history and timeline of the FNAF universe. Alright guys, don't ask me what inspired me to want to watch some more FNAF content. I just like indulging myself in deep lore videos, and if there's nothing more lore intensive than a FNAF video, I don't know what is.
But that's not just a theory, it's a game theory!
So, here is the entire FNAF timeline. I'm sure this will be very elucidating.
She can dance. She can sing.
All back, all of them, together in one place.
I'm actually
Five
excited
Nights
for
at
this.
Freddy's is a franchise with over
Not
a
like we've not
decade's
watched enough
worth
of these kind of videos
content,
before.
spanning countless games, books, and now a movie. There's a
And also immense amounts of fan work that make question whether this was really intended to be a kid's game to begin with.
reason that no matter whose timeline you watch, they all look different. Making a FNAF timeline is not easy. There are so
Let's be honest here, guys. The only thing scarier than the FNAF timeline and what goes on in the FNAF universe is its fandom.
many ways you can interpret this story, and this is mine. So let's start at the beginning.
Ooh, the editing chops on
Back
this.
in the 70s, a company called Fazbear Entertainment got its start by creating different props and mascot costumes for carnivals, and specifically for something called the Fall
so this must have come
Fest.
out just
Fall
after the
Fest
Mimic
featured
was
various
released.
mascot characters.
Dude,
such
how
as
is
a
the
bird,
Mimic already
an
10
elephant,
months
and
old?
the most popular of all, Fredbear and Bonnie. These specific mascot costumes were so popular, Fazbear Entertainment opened a dedicated restaurant for them called Fredbear's Family Diner, featuring the same Fredbear.
Right, so this is the part that I'm going to try and, like, synchronously put myself into here. Because, like, I know lots of bits of the FNAF timeline, and we've watched more than one MatPat game theory about this kind of stuff, so it'd be interesting to see if this synonymizes everything we already know. That way I can pretend that I'm really smart, and I can rock up to people in real life and be like, would you like a FNAF fun fact? And then instantly be rejected and suffer from immense rejection dysphoria.
and Bonnie mascot costumes from the Fall Fest. What Fazbear Entertainment didn't account for, though, was one of their animatronics from the Fall Fest going rogue, ending in a giant fire, with most of everything
It's always
from the
a
Fall
fire.
Fest being destroyed.
Man, so, like, people... One fire burns a restaurant down. That's an OSHA violation. 2 fires burn 2 restaurants down. Some might say that's happenstance. But when you've had a 3rd fire in your restaurant chain, some may say that that's maybe a bit of a trend. Yeah. Oh my god, the editing on this is insane. Like an anime intro. Kind of got a bit of a Saw vibe to it. So someone just said something in the chat that I will put to you guys. As a reactionary, if you guys like these kind of lore deep dives, would you like me to do a deep dive on the lore of Bionicle? Because I feel as though that'd be rather funny. Because I'd be so in over my head, it would be actually hysterical to watch me lose my mind.
The specifics about the animatronic that went rogue and the fire
If you can find me a
unknown
good video
and will
for it,
likely
I'll
be
watch it.
revealed next year in FNAF's next big release. Although we don't know much about how this fire occurred, we do know that after the fire, Fazbear...
It was Jimmy, wasn't it? Jimmy! I told you to stop playing with the sparklers! You see what happens, Jimmy? Jimmy, you little shit!
Entertainment started phasing out of the mascot costume era. They needed something new. The two men who helped found Fazbear Entertainment, William Afton and Henry Emily, stepped up to the plate.
I remember this.
William Afton was mostly the businessman of the two, handling all of the money, while Henry was the more creative one, with him being in charge of building most of the animatronics and props for the company. With the
yes, I do remember the Map Hat video talking about that. Yes.
They were only left with Fredbear's Family Diner, the standalone restaurant created for the Fredbear and Bonnie characters. In order to replace the mascot versions of Fredbear and Bonnie, Henry went to—
Sorry, complete anecdote here. I realized the dichotomy of my content. Sometimes we watch mega serious videos about deep dives in lore, and then in the next video I upload, we watch busty bionicles that are made by fans that are just absolutely thicker than oatmeal in the most memey format. I think it adds a bit of spice to my content. I do. I'm not opposed to watching degenerate content for the sake of amusement. But likewise, entertainment.
Work on new versions of the
I mean,
characters.
you guys love it,
Eventually
clearly.
creating the new Fredbear and
Otherwise you wouldn't be
Bonnie,
here.
the same characters but with new designs and new suits. Henry called them Springlock suits. These suits are able to double as both an animatronic and a suit that the employees could wear. To switch the suit from animatronic mode to suit mode, the employees could use a hand crank to pull back the animatronic parts, leaving room for them to climb inside. The Springlocks that were helping to hold back those animatronic—
Oh, that's so cool. I actually never understood how the mechanics of that worked. All I know is that William Afton had a terrible workplace accident with those.
parts were very sensitive though, and with even a little bit of moisture, the Springlocks could potentially snap shut, crushing and killing whoever was inside. But if that ended up—
What? What absolute megalomaniac thought that was a good design idea? Like, you're just waiting for a friggin' lawsuit at that point. Oh, William Afton got into the Springtrap again. I guess I better get the documents ready.
happening, Fazbear Entertainment had some common sense procedures set in place.
In case that the Springlocks come loose while you're wearing—
I love the dichotomy. I love the dichotomy. Wait, what? Oh, now, okay. YouTube, a second ago, you had Inky at the top. Well, it's nice to know that everybody appreciates Makari. Because Makari is the best.
Please try to maneuver away from populated areas before bleeding out, as to not ruin the customer experience.
Remember to breathe,
Fredbear's
chat.
Family Diner
Remember to breathe.
ended up being super successful for William and Henry, so much so that other companies tried replicating it. Another company proceeded to rip off Fazbear Entertainment's old mascot characters
this
by creating
game.
their own animatronic versions of them.
This
The
game was
leader
so
of the
good,
group
though.
was Nedbear, a direct copy of Fredbear, followed by a hippo, an elephant.
Now, I want you to copy their homework, but don't copy it too well. You know, get a couple questions wrong. Make sure your handwriting is completely different. Just don't copy it too well that you know that you've been plagiarized.
And a frog, all characters from the Fall Fest, and all with slightly different designs to avoid copyright issues. But while the rival company was able to replicate the designs, they could not replicate—
And yet YouTube would still copyright claim them. The monetization of this establishment is being given to YouTube now. Congratulations! The claimant is the winner.
Henry's state-of-the-art technology. Their robots were poorly made and had to have giant batteries with exposed wires on stage with them. Naturally, the rival company failed and ended up being bought out by Fazbear Entertainment. With all of the success from Fredbear's Family Diner, William and Henry decided to branch out and create more characters for a new restaurant. In 1983, William and Henry opened Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, featuring Freddy Fazbear, Bonnie, Chica, and Foxy. With the opening of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, Fazbear Entertainment was experiencing success like they've never seen before. But with two restaurants now open at the same time, more success also meant more work for William and Henry. The duo were so wrapped up—
Don't I know it? Since I started getting my studio up and running, the amount of work I've had to do to organize my animator, my editors, my coder, and getting all my comic work together— I love the work. My ADHD brain enjoys being constantly busy. There's no such thing as a time where I'm not working. Unless I'm playing Arc Raiders. But that is a mood I totally get behind.
Up in work that they started
But there's no such
neglecting their own
ADHD
families.
means that I
William
cannot
was
take
the
a break.
father of 3 kids, the eldest, Michael, the crying child, and Elizabeth. The crying child has yet to have a 100% confirmed name, so for this video, he will just be called the crying child. Meanwhile, Henry had 1 kid, a daughter named Charlie. The business partners spent most of their days working, so they both created different ways of taking care of their kids. Henry was the robotics genius, so he used his talents to create a new animatronic to watch Charlie for him. It was called the security puppet.
What absolute failure of a father. Build something that looks like this to look after their kid. This is like parents who hire cliche clowns to entertain their kid at birthday parties. This is how you end up with what's that stupid black and white clown that murders everybody? You know the one I'm talking about. That's how you end up in a horror movie. This is not kid friendly. That looks like nightmare fuel. Artie, yes, Art the Clown. That's how you end up with Art the Clown at your parties.
This animatronic would sit by the door of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza and make sure that Charlie wasn't able to leave the building. This made it so Charlie could play at the restaurant while Henry worked, without Henry having to worry about her leaving the building or getting kidnapped. The robot
Father
was
of
linked
the
directly
year,
to
everyone.
a green bracelet
Father
that
of the
Charlie
year.
was wearing. If Charlie, wearing the green bracelet, tried leaving the building, the security puppet would spring into action. William, on the other hand, was the businessman of the company. He cared more about making money, but also saving money. Naturally, he decided—
Can I say, by the way, oh god, what's the actor's name again? William Afton actor. What's the name again? Fucking Matthew Lillard. Yes, dude, Matthew Lillard absolutely made the FNAF movie. Like, the FNAF movie is good by itself, don't get me wrong, but Matthew Lillard killed it as William Afton. And I absolutely love that man. Like, I cannot wait to see the FNAF movie, the FNAF 2 movie. Just because he plays the role so well.
decided to just force his eldest son Michael to babysit while he was at work. Michael was mostly in charge of babysitting the crying child. The crying child didn't have many friends, but he did have a close relationship with his plushies. These plushies were of characters from his favorite show, Fredbear and Friends, Fazbear Entertainment's newest cartoon, featuring Fredbear, Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, and Foxy. The crying child's favorite character, though, was Fredbear. He especially loved his Fredbear plushie. Although he loved the plushie version of the characters, the animatronics would soon
just
become
like
a
me.
different story.
Hashtag,
One day, while visiting
shameless
Fredbear's
sellout.
family
We're getting a
diner,
plushie
the crying
soon.
child saw something that would scar him for the rest of his life. While wandering the restaurant, he walked
Something that scarred him for the rest of his life? Oh, you mean like the kids that see furries when they take their fursuit head off and they realize that their entire world illusion of anthropomorphic animals wasn't real to begin with? Wait a minute, you mean you're not a giant wild animal, a giant anthropomorphic fox that's cute and adorable? You're just some sweaty man under there?
by the employees only room, where an employee accidentally left the door open. Inside the room was his father, William Afton, helping another employee into a spring Bonnie suit. But through the eyes of the crying child, this looked like someone was literally being stuffed into an animatronic suit. The crying child was so young that he wasn't educated on how the mascot characters worked. So seeing a human be put inside
that's
of
how the
one
magic was ruined.
terrified him. When a child experiences something traumatic, their brain naturally tries finding ways to deal with that trauma. The crying child's way of dealing with his trauma was by
Yeah, because that's a whole thing about some of the earlier FNAF games, especially, what was it, 3? When you're in the kid's room, I think? There's a lot of, like, subtle undertones of, like, psychology and psychosis and the mental side of things. Like, a lot of... even in the other FNAF games, especially the earlier ones, sometimes you have to realize that some of the animatronics, and especially like the shadow animatronics, are kind of a machination of the imagination, which is really, really interesting to think about. Yeah, it was 4. And it's like, when you play FNAF games for just the sake of playing them, you never really think about it. But then when you do kind of look beyond the veil as such, you realize there's a lot of like psychological elements to the FNAF series that really doesn't get as much attention as it deserves.
creating an imaginary friend. This imaginary friend took the form of the object he loved the most, his Fredbear plushie. His new imaginary friend Fredbear followed him wherever he went, shape-shifting into flowers, hiding behind cars and in the sewers, with nobody being able to see him except for the crying child. When the crying child was overwhelmed, the plushie would talk to him and try to calm him down. Even when the plushie wasn't around, it was still able to speak to him because it lived in his mind. While the crying child was dealing with the trauma of seeing
I think what that comes from is like it depends on the perspective that the story's being told from. Because the fourth game was definitely told from the perspective of the children, whereas the others are told from the perspective of adults. So obviously for the kid in his house, his perspective of these monstrous creatures is way over exaggerated. But then you look at the ones that are more like based in reality with like 1, 2, etc. They're much more grounded just because it's like an adult perspective, which is an interesting little concept to think about.
what he thinks was someone being stuffed into a suit, his brother Michael was only making it worse. Michael knew about what happened with his younger brother and used it against him. Every day while babysitting the crying child, Michael would put on a foxy mask, hide somewhere in the house, and jump scare his little brother.
Little prick! Dude, these animations are absolutely sick. Oh, I saw that. The eyes of the Freddy thing just looked up at him. Watch the eyes. Watch the eyes. Yeah, they looked up at him. Oh, that's so creepy.
From the pizzeria to your living room, you no longer have to wait to sing and dance with Fredbear and Friends. Weeknights at 8, 7 Central. Only on...
He's in the walls. He's in the goddamn walls. Dude, I would totally watch a horror movie of this theming. Oh. Wait, was that the plushie on top again? Hold up. Yeah, look, the plushie. Wait. Did you see the little head on top of the thing? Ooh, subtle foreshadowing. Poor kid. Like, there are older brothers that are just older brother material. This guy, this... Yeah, so there are older brothers that do funny jokes. That's just a dick. Little anecdote, by the way. Something we're going to be doing in the near future, by the way. We are going to be doing a reactionary to one of the most enigmatic Five Nights at Freddy's nerdcore musicians ever. We're going to be doing a JT Music reactionary very soon, because they just put out a remake of one of their OG FNAF music videos. And this is absolutely amazing. So probably tomorrow. And as somebody who was brought up on this kind of music, I am very much looking forward to this.
Through all of Michael's bullying,
So yeah,
the crying
tune in
child's
tomorrow for that.
imaginary friend Fredbear would comfort him and talk him through the situation, saying, "You know he is hiding again. Be careful. Tomorrow is another day." Michael wasn't the only one bullying the crying child, though. The local kids in the neighborhood heard about why the crying child was so scared of the pizzeria, even making up fake rumors related to what the crying child
why are people gonna
thought he
bully the
saw
kid
there.
for that? He's
You
like,
better
what,
watch
5?
out. I hear they come to life at night, and if you die, they hide your body and never tell anyone. But all of this bullying would
When you
come to a
know
head
that
on
you
one
are the
special
side
day,
character
the
in your
crying
own story.
child's birthday. Ironically, his birthday party was being held at Fredbear's family
Oh, what a
diner.
transition.
Because he was so terrified of being at the pizzeria, he hid under the table, not knowing that Michael and his friends were nearby, planning a prank that would go terribly wrong.
Oh Oh, are we gonna watch him get actually
Make sure you
chomped?
grab your pizza. Fredbear and Spring Bonnie will be performing in 5
Oh my
minutes.
god, is that MatPat? Yay, welcome to Game Theory. Grab your popcorn, cause we're going down hard.
Oh no. Come on! How could you possibly think this was a good idea?
Michael and his friends
I'm sure some Tylenol will clear that right up. Yeah, I'm sure some Tylenol will clear that right up. Oh, I got a headache. Do you have any ibuprofen?
lifted the crying child up to, quote, give Fredbear a big kiss, and Fredbear bit down on him, leaving his body to go limp. Michael and his friends quickly stopped laughing. Because of Michael's immature behavior, his terrified younger
Was that the
brother
bite of
paid the
87?
ultimate price. Although the crying child was badly hurt, he didn't immediately die. Because of the immense brain damage, he slipped into a coma. After being
And
treated at a
that's where
hospital,
Game
the
4
crying
comes in.
child was taken home so he could be comfortable, surrounded by his only friend.
Man, this kid got to get bitten to get a brain damage. Just be me. I have brain damage even without that. And then I've got brain damage even without that. And then I've got brain damage even without that. And then I got the brain damage, and the drain damage. Then I had drain damage. Then I got the brain damage.
His plushies. In the crying child's final moments, Michael decides to apologize for what he's done, saying, "Can you hear me? I don't know if you can hear me.
My mouth
I'm
tastes
sorry."
of
After
teeth.
Michael speaks, the crying child's imaginary friend Fredbear, created out of the trauma he experienced, continues doing what it's done
No,
the
you,
whole
Nelthrough.
time.
No,
it
you.
comforts him, saying, "You're broken. We are still your friends. Do you still believe that? I'm still here. I will put you back together." This would be the final thing the crying child hears before he dies. The crying child's
Aw.
spirit would then live on in the Fredbear suit, the thing that took his life. The crying child's death wasn't just an accident. It was directly caused by Michael's recklessness. This is something that
Michael!
could potentially face
Michael,
jail
why did
time
you
for,
leave me?
So it needed to be covered up. Since the crying child was being kept at home, no one else knew that he ended up passing away. So William and Michael ended up burying the crying child's body in the middle of the woods where no one would find
Where are the
him.
parents in all
tombstone,
this?
No flowers, just a pile of dirt, an unmarked grave, and a lifetime's worth of guilt that Michael would have to live with.
Brother of
Shortly
the Year
after
award.
the incident, Fredbear's family diner was quickly shut down, and Fredbear was completely wiped from existence. The Fredbear and Friends TV show turned into Freddy and
Oh,
Friends
right, William is
on
the father.
tour. The Fredbear and Spring Bonnie Springlock suits
Wow,
also
I
ended
got-
up
I
being
can't remember
moved
what
into
happened
the
5
back
seconds
room
ago,
of
let alone
Freddy
5 minutes
Fazbear's
ago.
Pizza, mainly being used as spare suits if one of the Freddy's animatronics broke down. The death of William Afton's youngest son was a pivotal moment in this story. Specifically, William
Wait, I need to see that again. Wait, just a sec.
Afton's youngest son was a
I love how the complexion of the Fredbear changes as it bites down. It's like,
Oh, this isn't my Cheerios. This tastes like steak.
pivotal moment in this story, specifically William Afton's story. This was the first domino to fall. A father losing his son is a traumatic situation, and while any other father would take time to grieve, be sad, and properly deal with such a big loss, William Afton took a different route. Afton definitely was upset about his son dying, but it wasn't because he felt bad for his son, it was because it was embarrassing to him. William Afton was a
Father
narcissist.
of the Year
He had
award,
little to
ladies
no
and gentlemen.
empathy. All he cared about was work and comparing himself to his business partner, Henry. Henry had a wife, a kid, and a talent for robotics that Afton was utterly
and a massive. But they don't tell you that.
jealous of. The death of the crying child sent Afton over the edge because while Henry's family was still perfect,
Afton
his
got,
was now
relegated to the
broken. Henry and
culture.
William had different ways of taking care of their kids. And while Afton employing his eldest son failed, Henry's security puppet succeeded. Henry's daughter, Charlie, lived on. Afton had a hard time dealing with this feeling of embarrassment. He started becoming an alcoholic, frequently visiting the local bar called Junior's. One night, though, after drinking a little too much and getting kicked out of the bar, bar, he decided that he was going to settle the score with Henry. Afton, drunk and filled with rage,
Don't
drove
animatronic
from
and
the
drink,
bar
guys.
to Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, where he knew Charlie was being watched over by Henry's security puppet. Afton planned on risking everything to kill Henry's daughter, Charlie. He didn't care if he got caught, and he didn't care if he went to prison. But when Afton got to Freddy's, he noticed that Charlie was standing outside by herself. It turned out that some bullies were able to trap the security puppet in its box and lock Charlie outside the building, giving Afton the perfect opportunity to kill Charlie outside.
Perfect storm of nonsense.
The security puppet
It's almost
was
like
eventually
this
able
happened
to
because the
escape
plot
its box
dictated it.
and went looking for Charlie. As Afton sped away, the puppet noticed that Charlie was outside in the pouring rain. It then did what it was programmed to do and went to protect her.
But how did it?
But
How
as
did it
the
leave?
puppet got closer to Charlie's body,
Doesn't it ride
the
on
rain
rails?
started making it short circuit. It was forced to crawl its way over to her until the rain got to be too much, and the puppet shut down right next to Charlie's body. While Charlie and the puppet lay lifeless next to each other, Afton was speeding home, driving right past where he buried his son and the bar.
Yeah, so dude, this puts together a lot, because again, I've watched other videos in the past, but a lot of the sort of like minutiae of things always like escaped me. This is such a succinct way of putting the narrative together, and it for my divergent brain, it's making way more sense than a lot of stuff does. Nothing against MatPat and his game theories, but the animations make my brain go goo goo gaga. It's helping like really sit in my neural cortex.
Got kicked out of. When
This
Afton
is
got
good. This is
home, he
really
was met
good.
with his wife sitting in the living room watching TV, and Michael in his bedroom. Afton was a drunk and abusive father, and fully blamed Michael for what happened to his youngest son. Mrs. Afton tells him to leave Michael alone because he's had a tough day, but Afton doesn't listen. He goes over to Michael's room and pounds on the door, only for the door to be locked. He then makes his way around the house to try and find a way in from the outside, but once he gets to Michael's bedroom window, he notices that it's broken, and Michael was gone. Michael was so upset by what he did to his brother that he would sometimes see visions of Fredbear appear and disappear. Tonight, Fredbear appeared outside his bedroom window, and it almost felt like his brother was calling out to him from beyond the grave. This would happen frequently, and every
Okay,
time
but that's
it
kinda
did,
goofy,
Michael
though.
would run to the spot where they buried his younger brother, only to find that nothing had changed. His younger brother was still gone and buried in the ground. Afton knew Michael did this often, saying, "Ran off to that place again. He will be sorry when he gets back." The guilt of killing his younger brother haunted Michael in his real life, but also in his dreams. Michael would constantly have nightmares about the animatronic that took his brother's life. These were the exact same nightmares his younger brother used to have every night, now passed on to him.
And that's where the nightmare begins. It's gonna be maybe an unpopular opinion. I think Five Nights of the earlier generation of FNAF games, because you can't really compare the older FNAF games with the modern FNAF games. I legitimately think FNAF 4 was the best of the FNAF games, followed closely by 3, then 2, then 1. Like 1 was rudimentary and simple, and it obviously hadn't had the chance to cook. 2 was an innovation. 3 was different, and it was interesting. And the concept and the lore of it all was interesting. But 4, the mechanics of the game and the theming of everything and the sort of lore implications was so captivating to me. I mean, I don't know. In the comments below, which was your favorite FNAF game? Oh, that's not horrifying at all. I don't, dude. Okay, so you may not know this. I have a phobia of creepy figures peeking around corners or anything that's like not ambiguous. Oh, what's the word for it? Where it's like not properly visible. Not shrouded. Guys, think of the word for me. My brain's not doing the brain thing. What is the word I'm thinking of? What the fuck? No, not pareidolia, not transparent. Obscured. Yeah, obscured creepy faces absolutely send me into it activates my fight or flight response. It is horrifying. Like, my two biggest fears, mannequins and obscured faces, either in the darkness or peeking around corners. That shit sends me flying. No, why are you going to... Oh, that's so creepy! Oh! Nope. No. No, 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 no. Foxy's in the closet.
Bonnie hears your footsteps.
Oh, you can see the eye!
After the death of Charlie,
Yeah, FNAF 4 was definitely the scariest of them all. That imagery
tried their best
is
at
stuck
covering
in my
it up.
brain
Fortunately
rent-free.
for them and for William, the crime was committed outside, where no one was around to witness it. William was able to get away with everything.
Okay, you know what it is?
while
FNAF 3 was the best mechanically. FNAF 4 was the best theming. FNAF 2 was probably one of the better ones in terms of visuals. And FNAF 1, well, it's the OG. You gotta love it.
Fazbear Entertainment never spoke of the incident again. The security puppet was quickly moved to the back room of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza,
And FNAF
where
5 was the best because exotic butters.
retired Fredbear and Spring Bonnie suits resided. But something was different about the security puppet. Dark tears now appeared on the mask of the animatronic. Dark tears that weren't there before. This is something that Afton quickly noticed the next day when he went into work. He'd heard about what happened moments after he sped off. He knew the security puppet was found laying next to Charlie's body. So does that mean Charlie's soul now resided in the puppet? William definitely noticed that the puppet looked different. Almost like it was haunted. Almost like it
How
was
do you
thinking.
tell
Other
that? What have you
employees would
got? Have
eventually
you got like Ghostbusters, freaking ectoplasm detecting vision? Ah, yes, I can tell this thing is haunted because it's got goo running from its eyes and it keeps trying to stab me whilst I sleep. And every time I go to poop, it's staring at me from the toilet bowl.
noticed the same thing.
I'll be honest, I never liked that puppet thing. It's always thinking, and it can go anywhere.
After realizing the
You want Skynet? This is how you get Skynet. The one thing you don't want to hear in the conversation about robots. The robot thought, well, get your M16 because we're about to go brrr.
security puppet may be possessed by the spirit of Charlie, Afton went back and looked at the crying child's Fredbear plushie, only to find that it also seemed to be haunted. The crying child feared for his life every single day, and that plushie was something he was able to cry and pour his agony into. Afton believed that this is what caused the plushie to appear haunted. It wasn't made alive by the spirit of his son, it was made alive by the agony and fear his son poured into it. Afton quickly became obsessed with the concept of haunted objects, and more specifically, the power of human
Would it have
emotion.
killed them to have
He
made a
needed to
FNAF
find
game
out
that was
if this is
happy-go-lucky?
something he could take
Oh, wait, that was
advantage
FNAF
of.
Universe,
Afton then
wasn't
used
it?
all of his money he made from Fredbear's and Freddy Fazbear's Pizza to build a giant underground facility
Fazbear
directly
Diner.
under
The one where you
his
make the
house.
diner.
It was here that
Even
he would
those have
try
horror elements to
recreate
them.
what happened with his son, to recreate
FNAF World,
the
that's the one.
fear and agony he experienced. In order to do this, Afton didn't take any chances. He needed to replicate exactly what his son went through every day. In order to do this, Afton built a replica of
Dude, FNAF World still sits with me so weirdly. Like, tell me that Scott Cawthon isn't an absolute memer for the fact that he spent all of his time making an RPG FNAF game, only to then completely pull the plug on it. But it was all part of his master plan. Plans on top of plans on top of plans, plots on top of plots on top of plots. Scott himself may be a bit of a dick, but no one can ever deny that he is a genius story writer.
his house underground, along with his son's daily walk to Fredbear's family diner. He also built a makeshift bedroom where he could force kids to have the same nightmare every night.
What?
Afton would sit in his office watching them on the cameras that could be accessed using the passcode 1983, the year his son got bit. He also kept the crying child's Fredbear plushie on the desk as a reminder of what he was trying to replicate.
Absolute sociopath.
In the makeshift bedroom, there were dummy animatronics that wheeled down the hallway. But the kids wouldn't see them as just blank dummies on wheels. Afton would pump hallucinogenic gas into the room to get the kids to think that what they were seeing was a monster. These nightmare gas canisters were being stored all throughout his underground facility, and on the bed of this
Where's he getting all
makeshift
this
bedroom
money
was a
from?
Freddy plushie,
Jesus!
in the hopes that the kids would pour their fear and agony into the plush, like his son did to his.
Dude, Chuck E. Cheese barely has enough money to maintain their pizzas, let alone affording enough money to be able to allow somebody to build an underground facility.
Plushie. On the other side of the bunker where
I don't
Afton
know, I don't
recreated
think
the
Shit
Klein
Pizza
Child's
really
walk to
affords you much of
Fredbear's,
this.
He placed a bunch of Fredbear plushies all over the place. These Fredbear plushies had walkie-talkies inside of them. This was Afton's way of recreating his son's imaginary friend that would talk to him wherever he went. Afton would speak to the kids through his walkie-talkie sitting in his private office. After setting up the bunker, Afton was only missing one more thing: the kids to run these experiments on. He needed a way to
Dude,
kidnap
saying
and capture
Afton is
kids
on his
without
grind
being
set is a
caught, and he had
wild
the
thing.
perfect way to do it.
The show will begin momentarily. Everyone, please stay in your seats.
Enter Circus Baby and the Funtime animatronics.
Yeah, this one really didn't hit me as hard. And I'll go be honest, this is probably the last FNAF game that felt truly FNAF. Like, Security Breach and the more recent FNAF games, I don't know. I appreciate the innovation. Like, the Mimic was very fun, but they don't really hold much of a candle to me in terms of feeling like a FNAF game. And again, innovation is innovation, right? You can't keep doing the same thing and expecting it to be better. But I kind of hold them in different regards. The modern FNAF games are just a different generation.
These robots were specifically built by Afton to capture kids, featuring Circus Baby, Funtime Freddy, Funtime Foxy, and Ballora. They feature advanced technologies such as parental tracking, voice mimicking / luring, and storage tanks. Circus Baby, the star of the group, was even able to make ice cream as a way to lure kids
there's no way
to
that
her.
could go
Once
wrong.
the kid got too close, a giant claw would reach out, grab them, and lock them in the animatronics storage tank. Some of the board
Vor?
members from Fazbear Entertainment were suspicious of these new animatronics.
She can dance. She can sing. She's equipped with a built-in helium tank for inflating balloons right at her fingertips. She can take song requests. She can even dispense ice cream.
With all due respect, those aren't the design choices we were curious about, Mr. Afton.
Afton even created a new restaurant for these animatronics called Circus Baby's Pizza World. Elizabeth,
I didn't know
Afton's
this.
daughter, was fascinated by Circus Baby. All she wanted to do was play with her, but Afton wouldn't let her.
Daddy, why won't you let me play with her? You let the other children go see her. Why won't you let me go?
He strictly told her to stay away from the animatronic, but one day, she didn't listen. On the opening day of Circus Baby's Pizza World, another domino would fall in Afton's life, and Elizabeth would soon be the victim of his terrible misdeeds.
Uh-oh, what goes around comes around.
Special. Did you know that? I can make ice cream, although I only did it once. What a wonderful day, though.
Oh, you want some ice cream? What are the ingredients? Well, there's milk, sugar, the souls of the innocents, and, a little bit of MSG.
I was in a small room with balloons and a few tables. I would always count the children.
Ah, blood ice
Not
cream, my
sure why.
favorite.
They usually played together in groups of 2 or 3. There were 4, then 3, then 2, then 1. Time to play.
For your MSG. God, that is uncanny.
Ice cream.
Yay, ice cream. Blech. Now you are the ice cream.
Something happened when there was one.
Man, this is why I'm glad I'm lactose intolerant. You ain't coaxing me in with all that ice cream of death.
I was no longer myself. There was screaming for a moment, but only for a moment.
In an instant, Elizabeth was grabbed by Circus Baby and thrown into her stomach hatch. The sheer force of her being grabbed and thrown into the robot's storage tank was enough to kill her almost instantly. This is something that William wasn't able to test. That was until his daughter became the test. William Afton now lost another one of his—
I scream, you scream, we all scream. The family reunion fire.
kids. But this time, it was all his fault. After just one day of being open, Circus Baby's Pizza World was shut down. Afton covered up the incident by telling the public that the restaurant shut down due to gas leaks. But not
The funny thing is that Makari's still the biggest clown on screen right now. What does that say about you for the fact that you're here, watching this? I mean, I may be a clown, but you're sat there watching me. Oh, yuck.
everyone bought that story. The local newspaper wrote about the incident, saying, in other news, the grand opening of Circus Baby's Pizza World has apparently been canceled due to reported gas leaks in the building. Sources close to the establishment questioned the report, saying that strange activity around the area at night suggests something else is to blame. One local is quoted as saying, everything just stopped. There was so much excitement built around this place opening, and then they just stopped talking about it. A tenant from across the street claims to have witnessed a large group of cars surrounding the building during the night, and large pieces of equipment being taken out of the building under tarps. A few weeks later, the building was for sale.
You want a clown? I can be the best clown for you, baby.
Who financed the venture. That local entrepreneur, William Afton, successfully covered up everything. He was able to bring Circus Baby and the Funtime animatronics back down into his bunker.
That's right, Crimson, too right.
He noticed something was different about Circus Baby. One distinct feature about Circus Baby was her blue eyes. But what once was blue eyes now were green, the same color as Elizabeth's. In that moment, he knew that his daughter's soul attached itself to the robot.
Of the innocent.
Her soul lived on in Circus Baby. Afton knew that the way Charlie went on to possess the puppet was sloppy, and it was hard to recreate without getting caught. But what if the kids' bodies were hidden where no
Balora's
one would
on the move
ever
again.
look? What if, just like his daughter, their bodies were stuffed into the animatronics? For Afton, Elizabeth's death quickly went from just another inconvenience to a scientific breakthrough. Afton was one step closer to harnessing the power of life itself. But one successful experiment wasn't enough. Just like the fear experiments he built in the bunker, he needed to replicate exactly what happened. He needed to recreate the accident, and he knew exactly how he was going to do it. Using the Funtime animatronics again wasn't an option. Circus Baby's Pizza World was shut down, and
It's funny how a lot of this intertwines within itself. Like, his plan to conquer death ends up being the reason why he's able to perpetuate as Springtrap. And so many fun little tidbits that you find that there's irony, there's happenstance, there's intertwining plot elements, and just it's such a well thought out story, at least for all the plot holes. And I love seeing how it all links together in a way. The thing is, nothing's ever certain, nothing's ever guaranteed, because I don't think Scott's ever sat there and said, this is this, and this is how this is. Because let's face it, I don't even think Scott knows what his game is about these days.
the public was already getting too suspicious of the animatronics. But he didn't need the Funtime animatronics. He was going to run the experiment
Probably why we have
himself.
hundreds of hours of game theories out there.
In 1985, William Afton made his way to Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. There, he would put on the old spring Bonnie suit from Fredbear's to lure 5 kids into the back room.
The back rooms! Bum, 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 bum. Oh my god, the editing on this, the animations are...
Hello.
Oh, look at the green eyes.
Looking for a friend?
The water's clear.
Hi, Chris Hansen here. Mr. Springtrap, what are you doing with that small child? Why don't you just take a seat? Oh, the Springtrap's closed. Can we get the police over here? There's a dead body. Yeah, oopsie.
Swim with me.
Ooh, what a song. Dude, what is funny? That's horrifying. Ah! No, 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 no. Don't like it, don't like it, don't like it, don't like it, don't like it. No, that's what I mean. That's what I mean. That's the shit that makes my skin crawl. Nope. No, 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 no. Don't like it. Don't like it. Don't like it. Don't like it. Do not like it.
One by one, Afton killed them and stuffed their bodies into the animatronics. Susie was first, being stuffed into Chica. Gabriel went into Freddy, Jeremy into Bonnie, Fritz into Foxy, and then there was Cassidy, who went into Fredbear, aka Golden Freddy. At this point, Afton had no idea that the crying child spirit was in Golden Freddy, so he didn't think twice about shoving Cassidy in there. The way Afton killed Cassidy, though, was different from the rest. Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, and Foxy were just regular animatronics. Afton had no choice but to kill them, then stuff them into the suits. But Golden Freddy wasn't just a regular animatronic, it was a Springlock suit. The same Springlock suit that took his youngest son's life. Afton was aware of how dangerous the Springlocks were. Any bit of moisture or too much movement would cause them to snap shut, slowly killing whoever was inside. So that's exactly what he did to...
That kind of a design seems like a bit of an oversight, if you ask me. Like, yes, we'll make a mechanism that will allow you to wear the suit like it's an actual mascot costume. But if you even fart in the wrong manner, you'll be dead. That sounds flawless. Absolute genius. Give this man $1 million.
Cassidy. He put him into the suit and watched as the Springlocks snapped shut, cementing Cassidy's death as the most brutal of them all. Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, Foxy, and Golden Freddy weren't the only animatronics sitting in the back room of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, though. They were joined by the security puppet,
normalizing
which
child
contained
murder.
the soul of Henry's daughter, Charlie. Once Afton was gone, Charlie jumped into action, almost acting as a guide for their souls, properly giving them life inside of each animatronic. After the incident, the kids were quickly reported missing by their families, and although the security cameras caught Afton luring the kids away, he wasn't able to fully get in trouble. Since he was wearing the Spring Bonnie suit, they were never able to prove it was actually him. Afton also hid the kids' bodies where no one would ever look, so the bodies were never found. Unbelievably, Afton was able to get away with yet another crime. Because of all the...
I mean, let's be real here. It's something to be said for Afton's ingenious, but it's more so something to be said for the police's complete and utter incompetence. It's not like these murders are even that subtle. Even somebody with, like, the most basic bit of investigative skills would be like, you mean to tell me you didn't do this? Afton, you wrote your name on the corpse. Yeah, well, it's just, there could have been anyone.
Bad press that came from the missing children's incident, people stopped coming to the
It's in your handwriting!
After months of customers no longer showing up, Fazbear Entertainment officially shut down Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. Shortly after the pizzeria shut down, Afton decided to pull the Funtime animatronics out of retirement and finally get his underground facility fully operational. He knew he couldn't try opening
fully
another
operational
so he had a new idea.
Due to the massive success and even more so the unfortunate closing of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, it was clear that the stage was set, no pun intended, for another contender in children's entertainment. Unlike most entertainment venues, our robotic entertainers are rented out for private parties during the day.
Afton opened Circus Baby's Entertainment and Rental. This way, he could rent out the Funtime.
We've had one death trap of a pizzeria, yes. But what about second death trap pizzerias? What about thirdsies, afternoon death trap pizzerias? No?
Animatronics to local birthday parties, capture kids, and bring them back to his underground bunker to be experimented on. While Afton was running his rental business,
how you go from a pizzeria connoisseur
to try opening
to being a mad scientist.
In the summer of 1987, Fazbear Entertainment opened the new and improved Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, this time with brand new versions of their original.
The toy animatronics. Furries were eating good when this came out.
characters. These were called the toy animatronics, and they were once again built by Henry. Henry was aware of what happened in 1985, and especially of what happened to his daughter, so he was determined to make sure that never happened again. These new toy animatronics were equipped with facial recognition systems that were linked directly to a criminal database. The security puppet was also brought out of retirement, but instead of working security, it sat quietly.
Dad, I'm not a mad scientist. I'm a trained mechanic. The difference be, one's a job and the other's mental sickness.
In the prize corner. Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, Foxy, Golden Freddy, and Spring Bonnie were also moved to the new pizzeria, and it's revealed that these animatronics were mostly used for spare parts.
By now, I'm sure you've noticed the older models sitting in the back room. Those are from the previous location, and we just use them for parts now. The idea at first was to repair them, but they were just so ugly, you know?
Rude!
This means that the haunted metal of the original—
That's like me looking back at my old models being like, hold up. Yeah, we kept these things in the back room. They were kind of, we just use them as spare parts. We never thought about putting them on front again because they're just so ugly, you know? It's fucking, like, this thing's just so ugly. But it got fat tits.
Freddy's animatronics was now being put into the toy animatronics, causing the toys to also now be possessed. After Afton got away with the first set of murders, he needed to see if the kids' spirits were possessing the animatronics. In order to see for himself, Afton went back to work at the new pizzeria as a daytime security guard. While Afton was working the day shift, Jeremy Fitzgerald was working the night shift. Jeremy worked there for 5 nights, and unfortunately for him, because the kids possessing the animatronics were killed by an adult, they were extremely aggressive to any adult they encountered.
Makes sense.
Just fine, but when they encounter an adult, they just stare.
Meanwhile, Afton decided to pull the same trick he did at the old Freddy's location, gaining 5 more victims.
Someone used one of the suits. We had a spare in the back, a yellow one. Someone used it.
Afton used the Spring Bonnie suit to pull the same stunt again on 5 more kids.
He can't keep getting away with this!
Charlie from
Yeah, policeman turns up and is like, William, did you stuff those children's bodies into the animatronics? No. William, your name is on them. What, you mean I was stuffing those bodies in those animatronics incorrectly? Oh, William, we got you.
Inside the puppet was actively trying to save the kids. She tried enlisting the help of the other animatronics, but it was too late. Afton had already finished what he started. Not only that, him seeing the puppet and Freddy walking around the pizzeria trying to stop him was all the proof he needed that his experiments were successful. The kids he put into the original suits were haunting the animatronics. But there was one problem. Afton knew that the haunted metal of the endoskeletons was the key to everything, but the animatronics were trapped at the pizzeria. There was no way he could bring them back to his underground bunker. He couldn't get to the animatronics if the pizzeria was still
Twitch,
open.
come on, guys. Stop putting circumstantial evidence together. Just because William Afton is British and just because I am British does not mean that I am a psychopathic murderer. The bodies in my basement do. Honk, 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 honk.
So he
Don't look at the bodies, look at my nose, look at my nose.
Sure the pizzeria shuts down and fast.
Dude, Willy's Wonderland. I hope we get Willy's Wonderland too. I do. Nicolas Cage made that movie.
This was a guaranteed way to get the pizzeria shut down. A few hours after Afton committed the murders, Jeremy
Where was I
Fitzgerald
during the events of
showed up for his night
1987?
shift, unaware
I
of
wasn't
what
even in my
happened
dad's
that day.
ball sack at that point.
What on earth are you doing there? Didn't you get the memo? The place is closed down, at least for a while. Listen, just finish your shift. It's safer than trying
That's
to
right.
leave
Thank you
in the
for your
middle of the night. We have one more event scheduled for tomorrow, a birthday. You'll be on day shift. Wear your uniform. Stay close to the animatronics and make sure they don't hurt anyone, okay?
The next day, during Jeremy's day shift, one of the animatronics bit him in the head. This was infamously known as the bite of 87.
I said you got the bite of 87!
Meanwhile, Afton successfully got the pizzeria
Insert
shut
Markiplier
down.
meme
The
here.
local newspaper wrote about the incident, saying, after being open only a few short weeks, Freddy Fazbear's Pizza is closing its doors. The new animatronics will be scrapped due to possible malfunctions. However, the original characters are being kept in hopes of
You
a
mean
possible
the animatronics
reorganization of the
biting people
company.
wasn't
Since
just
the
like
toy animatronics were now being
intended?
scrapped, he knew he could get away with taking their endoskeletons.
If you didn't want them to bite people, why did you give them teeth?
But
Yeah.
he also
Take
knew
that,
that
game
he
theory.
couldn't risk showing his face at the pizzeria again, so he got his oldest son, Michael, to do the work for him. William was easily able to get Michael to do whatever he wanted. William was abusive and manipulative, while Michael was haunted by the guilt of what he did to his
John, I
younger
think
brother.
right.
Because of this, Michael basically acted as William's puppet. Michael showed up for the night shift at the now-closed Freddy Fazbear's Pizza under a code name, Fritz Smith. At the end of his shift, he would successfully steal the toy animatronics endoskeletons for his father, causing him to get fired his first day on the job due to tampering with the animatronics. As it said in the local newspaper, while Fazbear Entertainment scrapped the toy animatronics, the original Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, and Foxy were going to be fixed up and reused. And that's exactly what they did. After the 1987 Freddy's location shut down, they opened yet another location, this time using the exact same building as the first Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. As you can imagine, this didn't work out great.
That's that's where the FNAF 1 movie kicks in, right? I think.
For the business. People already had a bad impression of Fazbear Entertainment, so using the same building that the original murders took place in didn't help business. Customers barely showed up to the new pizzeria, leading it to shut down by the end of 1993. Although this was bad news for Fazbear Entertainment, this was great news for William Afton.
Yeah,
Afton
'cause
was
that's where the
able
game
to
and the movie
acquire
kick
the
off.
endos of the toy animatronics.
I
but
remember.
that wasn't
I
enough.
know my
He needed
lore.
all of the haunted
I'm a
endoskeletons,
FNAF lore
especially
linguist.
the ones in the original animatronics. Once the pizzeria shut down, Afton came up with a plan to steal the endos from the animatronics. Each pizzeria was designed with something called a
The
safe room.
endos. In your endo. 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 In your endo. 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 I'll be in your endo, if you know what I'm saying. Wink, wonk, honk, honk.
If there is ever an emergency, please go to the designated safe room. Every location is built with one extra room that is not included in the digital map layouts programmed into the animatronics or security system. This room is hidden to customers, invisible to animatronics, and is always off camera.
This room was hidden from guests and invisible to the animatronics. Afton would use this to his advantage, luring each of the animatronics to the safe room and dismantling them
Suspicious.
one by one. The kids possessing these animatronics were the same kids he lured into the back room all those years ago. He planned to use the same trick to lure the same kids all over again.
Oh. Hi, Bonnie. Ah, no, I didn't need him to do that. No, he looked into my soul and he saw only degeneracy. He stared into my soul and my soul stared back. You can look at me like that, Bonnie? Well, you don't even know the things I'm gonna do to you, Bonnie boy. Mustard? More like mustard gas. After I'm done with you, I'll be wanted in every country. Oh my god, the animations on this is great. Come, my child soldiers. Oh my god, it's the purple guy!
Oh my god, he's tweaking.
Once he finished dismantling
He's
each
busting it
animatronic
down.
and stealing their endoskeleton, he brought them down to his underground bunker, where he would melt them all down into one liquid substance called remnant.
What?
Not only did Afton rob these kids of their lives, he would use their souls long after they're gone for his own personal gain.
Oh! I never knew that. That's crazy. Hi, Chris Hansen here. What are you doing with that boy, Mr. Springtrap? Oh, that's horrifying. I hope you die in a fire! God, back when I used to listen to Living Tombstone. God, that's tragic. Dude, I would have given any money if they just had a little hint of the Living Tombstone song in there. Just a little, undertone.
By melting down the endos, he successfully created remnant. This substance, containing the spirits of all of the missing children, was silver in color, and if kept at the right temperature, was malleable. Afton didn't want to risk testing the remnant on himself, so he injected it into the Funtime animatronics. Once he did, the animatronics jumped to life. The experiment had worked. William Afton unlocked the power of life itself. After his successful experiment, he went back to Freddy Fazbear's Pizza to collect—
Dude, scientists everywhere have been trying to unlock the faculties of life for decades. And you mean to tell me some dude, some absolute megalomaniac sociopath with murdering tendencies comes along, murders a couple kids, literally transfuses their spirits into animatronics and is like, ah, yes, that's life right there.
his old Spring Bonnie suit. But once he got there, he was met with the spirit—
In the movie industry, we call that a MacGuffin.
Of the 5 missing children, trapping him inside the safe room. Cassidy, the spirit inside Golden Freddy, chased Afton around the room and forced him to get into the Spring Bonnie suit. Cassidy was the most vengeful spirit of them all. Being spring-locked in the Fredbear suit was a painful and slow death, and he wanted to make sure that Afton knew what that felt like. At this point, Afton knew how a spirit could live on. As long as he was inside the suit, he knew he'd be back.
Deserved much?
As Afton laughed, the spring locks snapped shut, forcing him to go through what Cassidy went through. This was an act of revenge by Cassidy, and it wouldn't be the last. Afton was now confined to the safe room of the now shut down Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, and because of this, everything in his
Full Metal Alchemist be like. Jeez.
Ground bunker was left abandoned. But even with Afton gone, the rental business continued on its own. All of the Funtime animatronics containing the spirits of the missing children and even his daughter Elizabeth were still being rented out during the day and then brought right back down to the bunker. All the spirits wanted to do was escape, but they were always put back underground. After Afton went missing, his eldest son Michael, who's been blindly helping his father, remembered what his father told him if he ever went missing. If William wasn't there to finish his work, Michael would do it for him. Afton's underground facility was always off limits to Michael, but since he was now gone, Michael had no choice. He took the elevator down to where his father worked every day. Although Michael was helping out his father by stealing some of the endos from the animatronics back in the day, he never exactly knew what William was doing until he got down into the bunker.
So, here's the takeaway from all this, guys. If you want to live forever, don't go seeking the Dragon Balls. Don't go find a magic genie. Just die in an animatronic. You'll be set for life. And the afterlife. Yeah, would have thought. What a concept. Just freaking die! Smile.
Over the several days he visited the bunker, he learned more about what his father was up to. He learned about the massive facility his father built, complete with multiple rooms conducting fear experiments. He learned the truth behind the Funtime animatronics and how they were actually designed to kidnap kids. And he learned through the voice of Baby exactly how his sister died.
A little girl, standing by herself. My stomach opened, and there was ice cream. I couldn't move, at least not until she stepped closer.
But as the week went on, Baby was conducting
that's
a plan
horrifying
of
to think
her own,
about.
a plan to
Ugh.
escape the
Like a
bunker
Venus flytrap.
using Michael's body. Elizabeth was no longer the person Michael remembered her as. She was entirely devoted to her father and would do anything to make him proud of her. At the end of the week, all of the Funtime animatronics endos were scooped out, with all of them combining into one animatronic called Ennard. This creature, containing the spirits of the missing kids and Elizabeth, knew they wouldn't be able to escape the bunker looking like an
that's
animatronic.
right. I
They
forgot
needed
Ennard existed.
a human body to walk around in.
You are in the scooping room now.
Scoop, scoop,
Funtime
scoop.
Foxy has already been here today. Funtime Freddy has already been here today. Melora has already been here today. Circus Baby has already been here today.
Ooh, that's creepy! Eh.
I've been out before, but they always put me back. They always put us back inside. There's nowhere for
Oh,
us
what a
to hide.
visual! That's creepy.
There is nowhere to go when we look like this. But if we looked like you, then we could hide.
God, the body jacking. This unsettled me so fucking much. Ugh. Like, the idea of body jacking in of itself is an interesting concept for, like, certain narrative points, but jeez, that was unsettling.
If we looked like you, then we would have somewhere to go. The scooper only hurts for a moment.
So, just dodge? Just dodge? Just dodge the scooper?
Michael Afton's insides got scooped out and replaced by Ennard, helping all of the souls to escape the facility. With every passing day after this happened, Michael looked more and more like a walking zombie. His skin was starting to turn purple, and people started to notice. Michael's body was no longer a good disguise for Ennard, so Ennard ejected itself from Michael. But because the
What a
scooper was
waste.
also a remnant injector,
What a waste
when
of a
Michael Afton
perfectly
was
good
scooped,
corpse,
he
I
was
mean body.
also injected with remnant. The remnant made it so even after Ennard was gone, he was still able to survive.
Oh,
With Michael
that's... Ugh. It's like being a zombie, but with all your faculties. Just rotting. Rotting like I'm rotting knowing that I'm old today because it's my birthday.
now back in full control of his body, he had a new mission. Although he did, one way or another, successfully free his sister from the underground facility, he also learned about all of his father's terrible misdeeds. His loyalty to his father turned to disgust. It was time for him to end all of this.
Father, it's me, Michael. I did it. I found it. It was right where you said it would be. They were all there. They didn't recognize me at first, but then they thought I was you. And I found her. I put her back together, just like you asked me to. She's free now. But something is wrong with me.
I'm a
I
zombie.
should be dead, but I'm not.
Zombie. Zombie.
I've been living in shadows. There is only one thing left for me to do now. I'm going to come find you.
My birthday wish? Not to have stiff shoulders.
I'm going to come find you.
Michael would
so
spend
that's FNAF
years
3?
searching for his father with no luck, until a new ad in the local newspaper caught his attention. Someone decided to open something called Fazbear's Fright, the horror attraction.
Yes!
Local amusement park is getting ready to scare your socks off with a new attraction based on the unsolved mysteries of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. Featuring actual relics from the decades-old pizzeria, this new attraction is guaranteed to bring back your childhood in the worst possible way. As if using the crimes of his father to make a profit wasn't bad enough, they also went back to the old pizzerias and collected any objects they could find to put on display at the attraction. Michael immediately applied for the job of the security guard with the sole intention of burning the place to the ground. When he got there,
I can just picture how that interview went. Like, so what makes you think you're qualified to be a good security guard? Well, you see, I've got immense amounts of experience looking after children. I have experience working in pizzerias, and my skin is falling off. Yeah, no one would want to steal a place that's being guarded by a corpse. Yeah, I'll just frighten all the baddies off.
Remnants of his past. The shells of all of the animatronics, missing every single one of their endoskeletons. He knew they could only find the shells of the animatronics because he and his father stole their endoskeletons all those years ago, leaving only the shells behind. On day 2 of working at the attraction, he got word that they found a real animatronic.
You're not gonna believe this. We found one. A real one.
This real animatronic ended up being his father, still inside the Spring Bonnie suit he died in decades ago. Even though his father was now in the building with him, he still decided to go through on his plan, all in an effort to end his father once and for all. Michael then rigged the wiring in the building to catch fire, burning the horror attraction to the ground with his father inside.
I mean, the chronology of how the FNAF games were released was probably the most confusing part for a lot of people. What do you mean they're not in chronological
the local newspaper
order?
would write about the fire, saying a new local attraction based on an ancient pizzeria chain burned down overnight. Authorities have not ruled out foul play, but at the moment it seems to have been caused by faulty wiring. Although the fire destroyed most of everything in the building, William, miraculously, was able to survive. William was now free, roaming the outside world along with the souls of the missing children, Elizabeth, and Charlie inside the puppet. Since Michael wasn't able to end everything, someone else needed to step in. That someone was Henry Emily. Afton's old business partner and father of Charlie heard about the fire at Fazbear's Fright, along with the rumors of the various animatronic creatures now roaming the streets. Henry was determined to put an end to all of this.
It's only now that I understand the depth of the depravity of this creature, this monster that I unwillingly helped to create. As if what he had already done wasn't enough. He found a new way
talk
to
about an escalation of circumstances. Goes from making a happy, family-friendly pizzeria to being
the loss of everything to so many people.
Good
Small
God.
souls trapped in prisons of my making, now set to new purpose, and used in ways I never thought imaginable. He lured them all back to a familiar place, back with familiar tricks. He brought them all together. Are they still aware? I hope not. It keeps me awake at night. I could make myself sleep, but not yet. Not until I undo what he has done and heal this wound. A wound first inflicted on me, but then one that I let bleed out to cause all of this. He set some kind of trap. I don't know what it was, but he led them there again. He overpowered them again. And he robbed them of the only thing that they had, again. I don't know how those tiny breaths of life came.
Scott Cawthon wanted to make a big fat stack of cash again. So he made another FNAF again. And so the cycle will keep commencing again and again and again.
To inhabit those machines, but they will never find rest now. Not like this. I have to call them all back, all of them, together in one place.
By gathering all of the animatronics in one place and locking them in the same room, he would be able to burn them all to the ground for good, effectively freeing their spirits in the process. In order to do this, Henry created a new restaurant called Freddy Fazbear's Pizza Place. He knew that the spirits and William couldn't resist coming back to a new location, even if it was all just a trap. Charlie was different though. She was smarter than the rest, so Henry knew she wouldn't be as easily fooled. So he created an animatronic called Lefty, standing for Lure, Encapsulate, Fuse, Transport, and Extract, specifically to capture the puppet and bring it to the pizzeria. While trying to find someone that would help him carry out his plan, one person showed up for the job, a person who was also determined to finally end all of this, Michael Afton. Day after day, the animatronics roaming the streets would show up in the...
At this point, Michael Afton turns up and he looks like a topographical map of Utah. Oh, buddy, you need some aloe vera on your skin or something. Sheesh.
Alleyway next to the pizzeria. Baby, aka Elizabeth, the souls of the missing children and the crying child, now appearing as Molten Freddy, Charlie and Lefty, and his father, William, all showed up in the back alley. Michael would then collect each animatronic and throw them into a facility under the pizzeria, designed to be a maze with no exit, where the animatronics would roam around without even knowing they're trapped, until the end of the week, where they would all be burned to the ground. With all of the souls, including William himself, now in one place, Henry's plan was in motion. As far as Elizabeth and William were concerned, this was a good thing. All of this remnant now in one place was all that they wanted, until Henry stepped in.
You played right into our hands. Did you really think that this job just fell out of the sky for you? No, this was a gift for us. You gathered them all together in one place, just like he asked you to. All of those little souls in one place, just for us. A gift. Now we can...
Am I the only one that feels like Baby kind of has the voice of Pomni, but as more of a sociopathic, I'm gonna get you kind of voice? It's like if Pomni became evil or something. Oh wait, that's already happened.
Do what we were created
Hector,
to
thank you for the resub.
And be
And JD, thank you for the $5.
I will make you proud, Daddy. Watch. Listen. And be full.
Connection terminated. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Elizabeth, if you still even remember that name, but I'm afraid you've been misinformed. You are not here to receive a gift, nor have you been called here by the individual you assume, although you have indeed been called. You have all been called here, into a labyrinth of sounds and smells, misdirection, and misfortune. A labyrinth with no exit, a maze with no prize. You don't even realize that you are trapped. Your lust for blood has driven you in endless circles, chasing the cries of children in some unseen chamber, always seeming so near, yet somehow out of reach. But you will never find them. None of you will. This is where your story ends.
I'd burn trap.
And to you, my brave volunteer, who somehow found this job listing not intended for you. Although
Daddy
there was
Dalek,
a way
thank you for the
out
resub as
planned
well.
for you, I have a feeling that's not what you want. I have a feeling that you are right where you want to be. I am remaining as well. I am nearby. This place will not be remembered, and the memory of everything that started this can finally begin to fade away, as the agony of every tragedy should. And to you monsters trapped in the corridors, be still, and give up your spirits. They don't belong to you. For most of you, I believe there is peace, and perhaps more, waiting for you after the smoke clears. Although
it's really tragic. It's really compelling through the animation especially.
So don't keep the devil waiting, old friend. My daughter, if you can hear me, I knew you would return as well. It's in your nature to protect the innocent. I'm sorry that on that day, the day you were shut out and left to die, no one was there to lift you up into their arms, the way you lifted others into yours. And then, what became of you? I should have known you wouldn't be content to disappear. Not my daughter. I couldn't save you then, so let me save you now. It's time to rest, for you, and for those you have carried in your arms. This ends, for all of us, in communication.
Henry putting fire to the animatronics may have freed the spirits from the metal of the
That
robots,
whole
but some of
speech
them
puts a
still
tear in
needed
your
help
eye.
actually moving on into the afterlife. This help would come from Charlie. She helped guide the spirits into the robots. Now she would help them move on. In the world of Five Nights at Freddy's, the way a spirit can move on is by them being put into a happy memory. The memory Charlie chose actually comes from the crying child and the day he got bit. Piece by piece, Charlie put that terrible shattered memory back together, but this time she would change it into a happy memory. Instead of the crying child getting bit on his birthday, Charlie changed it so that all of the missing kids and Charlie would celebrate him, giving him a giant birthday cake. By changing that terrible memory into a happy one and attaching all of the spirits to it, they were able to successfully pass into the afterlife.
Oh, this is stuff I never got to really figure out, because it was around this time that I kind of stopped really engaging with the FNAF stuff. So this is all new to me. Damn.
Like I said, they were all able to move on, except for one.
Of course.
I always come back, Michael. I always come back.
Mm-hmm. When your hate boner is so strong, not even death can... Dude, oh no. William Afton is the Doom guy. Lest we think about what happened in Doom the Dark Ages, where the Doom guy literally gets turned into a zombie and is too angry to die. William Afton is fucking the... Oh, Cassidy? Really?
Cassidy, the most vengeful spirit of them all,
I'm wrong,
wasn't
man.
done yet. He decided to attach his soul to Williams, making sure that William was unable to move on. By attaching his spirit to Williams, he was able to trap Afton in an endless loop of death. He made Afton relive every one of his terrible misdeeds. The fear experiments, his underground bunker, and the pizzeria where Cassidy was killed.
Haha,
Afton
good! No
experienced
freedom for that
all
little
of this
git.
while being attacked and killed over and over again by all of the animatronics from his past. Every time an animatronic would attack him, Cassidy would be there, reminding him that the suffering will never end.
We've only just begun. I will never let you leave. I will.
And this is why kids are the real horror story here? Because good God.
Never let you rest.
He tried to release you. He tried to release us, but I'm not gonna let that happen. I will hold you here. I will keep you here, no matter how many times they burn us.
Cassidy knew that Afton didn't deserve the afterlife. He deserved to pay for what he's done for all of eternity. But if you keep up with the franchise, you know that that's not the end of the story. Like I said at the beginning of the video, making a FNAF timeline is not easy. No matter what anyone says,
yeah, we haven't even gone to
broad
security breach
strokes,
yet.
you can explain the basic plot. But once you get down to the motivations and the why of everything, you have to start filling in the blanks yourself. Some people who've helped me fill in the blanks that I'd like to shout out are Rytoast for his theory about Cassidy being springlocked in Golden Freddy. I think that makes a lot of sense and is really satisfying for the narrative. Also, I'd like to shout out MatPat for his theory about Midnight Motorist. After trying to figure that minigame out for years, I think your explanation makes
Welcome to
sense.
Game
It's
Theory.
important for me to say that no one, except for Scott Cawthon himself, knows the exact story he was trying to tell. So please make sure to watch.
Dude, let's be honest here. Not even Matt Pat knows the story of the game anymore. I don't think he ever knew the story. This is obviously a franchise that he made on a whim, and he just completely blew out of his control.
Other people's timelines as well, and come to your own conclusion on everything. And when the time is right, I'll be back to tackle the newer games in this franchise. Until then, make sure to subscribe, and thanks for watching.
Damn, what a video! Holy smokes, dude! Oh, that was amazing. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was a whole whirling dervish of lore deep diving. I hope you enjoyed my anecdotes and enjoyed the journey. For those who did, make sure to like, subscribe, go subscribe to FNAF, and we'll be back in the near future. Drop by my Twitch for live streams and my birthday celebration and all that kind of good stuff. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye. All right, guys, that is gonna be that for the reactionary stuff, I think. So, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you on the YouTube side, that is going to be it today. I will be continuing my stream on Twitch as I will be playing some Dispatch for the rest of the day. And I'll be back tomorrow with more reactionary stuff and furthermore, the Donathon continuing. So, YouTube lot, say goodbye. If you are not interested in Twitch, I popped a link in the chat there if you want to come over. But if you're not interested in Twitch, I would highly advise you and go and join the Discord. At least that way you can keep up with everything we do. So thank you for being here, YouTube. I'll see you guys either over here or in the next YouTube stream now that I've got my shit set back up so you can join us. All right. Catch you later, YouTube. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, YouTube. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.